Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Leetcode problem number 17, letter combinations of a phone number. This is a medium algorithm. And so this is kind of extrapolating on the 3-sum Leetcode problem and the 4-sum Leetcode problem. So I would suggest if you haven't solved those to go and do those first. That will make this a lot easier, and I have videos on both of those on my channel if you need some help with that. Okay, so given a string containing digits from 2 to 9 inclusive, return all the possible letter combinations that the number could represent. Return the answer in any order. A mapping of digits to letters, just like the one in the telephone buttons, is given below. Note that 1 does not map to any letters. All right, so basically you're going to have one variable with digits, so 2 and 3. So 2 is going to correspond with A, B, and C, 3 with D, E, and F. So all the combinations of those letters would be A, D, A, E, A, F, and then B, D, B, E, B, F, and C, D, C, E, and C, F, right? If you have no digits, you return an empty array. If you have just one digit, you just need to return the 3 letters, or note that there are 4 letters for 7 to 9, or 4 letters. So for 2, you just return an array of A, B, and C. This is very important here. Obviously, the digit range is between 2 and 9, but even more importantly, the amount of digits is going to be between 0 and 4. Okay, so let's jump over to CodePen. And I'm going to grab these digits for now. I like to do my algorithms here so I can see the code working as I go. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the 2 most simplest cases. So if digits.length equals 0, oops, we're going to return an empty array. Else if digits dot length equals 1, we're just going to return object at digits, right? So let's console.log functions so we can see our results in the console. So if we have just one digit, we should get A, B, and C, and we do. No digits, should be an empty array. All right, good. So that's simple. So now what we're going to do here, that leaves us with a possibility of having 2 digits, 3 digits, or 4 digits. So we're going to create helper functions for each of those cases. So we're going to create a function called 2. It's just going to console.log 2. And then we're going to copy that twice. I'm going to call this 3. 3. And finally 4. 4. And then down here, we're going to say, we're going to create a ternary operator. And so if digits dot length equals 2, call 2, else, I'm just going to copy this. Digits.length equals 3. We're going to call 3. And then else, we'll just call 4. So right now we should see 2 in the console, and we do. If I add a digit, we should see 3. And if I add another digit, we should see 4. We do. Fantastic. Let's go back to 2. Alright, so let's work on this function. What we're going to have is we're going to have basically two indices. One is going to be I, because we're going to use a for loop. And the other we're going to call pointer. Oh, and I left out a very important step. Let's back up. So before we do all this, we're going to take, what we're going to do is we're going to take all the letters, so all letters for 2 and all letters for 3, and we're going to put that into an array. And then we're going to flatten that array, and then we're going to use that in our function. So we're going to say let letters equals that empty an array. We're going to loop through I equals 0. I is less than digits dot length, say I plus plus, we increment I, and then quite simply we just push letters dot push each digit. Oh, I'm sorry. So, let me explain this. So now we need to push object at digits I. Cool. Now we should see two arrays. One with A, B, and C, and one with D and F. And we do. Then the next thing we need to do is we need to flatten that array. And we just simply can use, say, const flat letters equals letters dot flat. And that should combine those two arrays. So if I put flat letters, yep, there you go. Okay, so now we can go into 2. My bad. Alright, so let's get rid of this console.log, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a for loop. We're going to say for let I equal 0. And we only want to go up to the end of the first array in letters. So we're going to say letters 0 dot length, because all we want in this loop is A, B, and C. And then I plus plus, we increment I. You know, and I'll just show you what I'm doing here. So if I console.log console.log, oops, flat letters at I, we should just see A, B, and C. Perfect. Okay, so in there now we got to create another index. We're going to call this one pointer. So we say let pointer equal letters 0 dot length. So now the pointer is going to be set at index 3, right? So one thing I'm going to do here, this is going to be helpful. We're going to copy this. Let me throw it up here for easy reference. Flat nose. I'm getting lazy. Flat letters. Sorry. All right, there we go. So our our first index to start at 0, our second one will start at 3. So that way we can go A, D, A, E, A, F, B, D, B, E, B, E. You see what I'm doing here? So we're going to do some business that's going to increment this pointer before we come back to the top of this for loop. And then push into, of course, we can't forget this, we need a result variable to store all this. So let results, we're going to set it to an empty array. Great. Okay, so now what we need to do is we're going to we're going to comment that out. I was about to create a while loop, and it's really easy to create an infinite loop here in CodePen if we don't comment that out. So we're going to say if pointer is less than flat letters dot length. So once it gets to the end of flat letters, then we're done with the while loop. Until then, we're going to push into result flat letters I plus flat letters pointer. Okay, so then we want increment pointer. Okay, so let's see if we have the correct result. We wouldn't know because we're not returning result, we're returning flat letters. So we need to return result. That looks perfect. Great. Okay. So now we need to do similar logic here in 3 and 4. And all we're going to do is we're going to create one more pointer in 3. We're going to stick that inside of this while loop. And basically put this logic inside that while loop. And then increment the pointers at the end of each while loop. And then for 4, we need to add one more inside of that one. And add another pointer. I'll show you what I mean. So let's go to 3 now. So for 3, we're basically going to do the same exact stuff here. With some subtle changes. So we need, first thing we need is a pointer 2. We want pointer 2 not to start there, but we want it to start here. Right? Because right now we're going to have, letters is going to have 3 arrays, right? So we want pointer 2 to start after the second array. So what I mean by that here, let's say we got, before I do this so I don't totally mess this up. So let's say we have 4, right, here, then it's going to add these 3 letters. Right, so now our first pointer starts, or our index starts here, pointer starts here, and then pointer 2 starts here. So that's why we're doing that. Okay. Now we want pointer to not go up to that, but we want pointer to go up to letters 0. Letter 0 dot length. Basically, what am I doing? We want this, right? So we want this to go up to pointer 2. Then we need a while loop for pointer 2. Now this one is just going to go to less than flat letters dot length. Okay. Now we're going to take this. I'm just going to copy it for now. And we're going to do the exact same logic. But we're going to increment pointer 2. And we're going to add flat letters, the flat letter at pointer 2. Okay. Then finally, what we need to do down here is we need to, at the end of the outer while loop, increment pointer, and then reset pointer 2. Like that. Well, not copy it like that. There we go. Great. All right, so there's 3. So let's make sure this is working correctly. So we have ABG, ABH, ADI, AEG, AEH, AEI, AFG, AFH, AFI, BDGB. Okay. Yeah, looks like it's working great. All right. So last thing we need to do is basically the exact same thing we just did, but add another while loop with inside this for a third pointer. And then we should be good to go. So I'm going to copy all of this. Okay, now we're going to create a pointer 3. Which is going to be that. And we need to change this to 3. And so now let's say that's 5, right? So you're going to have to grab these. Same sort of thing. So index is starting here, pointer is starting here, pointer 2 is starting here, pointer 3 will be starting here. Okay. So now this while loop is going to remain the same. Pointer 2 is not going to go up to flat letters dot length. It's going to go up to this. Basically pointer 3. Like that. Then we need one more while loop. And here we can go back to the original condition. So the innermost pointer always going to use this condition. Just use the length. So pointer 3, right? All right, and so then we're going to take this again, move it up, change this to 3, and then here we need to increment pointer 2. Reset pointer 3. Oops, shoot. Reset pointer 3. Copy that. Pointer 3 equals. There we go. to here, pointer 2, we increment, reset pointer, we increment pointer, reset pointer 2, and then we also need to reset pointer 3 again. Cool. So now that should be good to go. I'm going to add 5 into the mix here. I know what we forgot. We forgot to add the 4th letter. Okay, so ADGJ, ADGK, ADGL, ADHJ. Right, that's correct. ADHK, ADHL, ADIJ. Alright, it's looking good. Instead of checking all that, I'm just going to go for it and submit it. And deal with the consequences. Here we go. Format it. Cool. Let's run it. Alright, looks good for 2 function. Obviously those were easy. We already tested that. Now here's the real test. Is it going to work for 3 digits and 4 digits? And it does. Fantastic. And 0 milliseconds, it beats 100%. Can't do better than that. Oop. Sorry about that. Alright. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to my channel to watch more like this, and enjoy the rest of your day.